All right.
Oh,
Boom.
shit, being recorded. That was
We,
loud. Got it.
I know, man.
Okay.
This whole Zoom thing makes it super easy to do, man. I don't have to do anything over here, but just like have a decent mic, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got that on me. I got this
Hey, bro,
headset. So
that is, dude, you look ready to fuck me up in Halo or Call of Duty or something, dude. You look ready.
exactly.
Well, hey, man. Good evening, bro. I'm here with Brihlo. I'm super excited for today, man. You know, after we touched base last week, I am just really ready to dive in, man. But man, how you feeling today, dude?
I'm feeling great. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good, dude. I've been kind of like annoying the shit out of my wife all week, dude. Just kind of stoked for this kind of, I run through things with her, dude, and she's all like, she indulges me, but she's like, dude, just do the fucking thing already, man. You know?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man. But you said it's cold over there where you're at.
Yeah. I'm right outside of Philly, and it was like 70 degrees last week, and now it's like 20, and honestly. I don't even mind the cold. I mind the ups and downs. Like I go out in a t-shirt and shorts, and then the next day I got to put a coat on. I still got my shorts on. It's like I'm confused.
Dude, I totally feel you. Are you one of those dudes who like to be outside a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd say so. If it's in nature, yeah. If it's like in a city, absolutely not.
I feel
I,
you.
I hate I hate concrete.
I do.
I like trees and I like animals.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's not even like I'm trying to get out in the wild or anything like that. I mean, that is cool, right? But it's just like, man, when I used to live in the city in Chicago, it's like you look outside and you're just like another building like right in your face
Yeah,
and like, all right, well,
everything's man-made. It's just like flat. Like everything's flat. Everything's right angles. It's just like
straight up, dude. I'll get
very
out and go.
human.
Dude, 100%. I'll get out and go for walks like in my neighborhood, and there's like some, forest preserves here. And before you know it, like, like ideas start flowing when you're out in nature and just
Oh
like you
yeah,
just unplug for a little bit. Things get a little simpler, you know?
yeah,
And I'm just like, I need more of that. And I think, the pandemic showed me a lot of that too, because there wasn't really anything else to do but walk, or like be outside.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, man.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine being in like a big city during the pandemic, like stuck in a room, and then you want to take a walk, and it just feels like a bigger room. You
Dude.
know what I mean? Like the city just feels like a room.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially the folks out in New York, man. I felt for them big time because like they were just
yeah,
kind of boxed in 100%.
yeah. Even when you go outside, they're boxed in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, dude. Why don't we go ahead and just like let me go ahead and jump in, dude, because I'm super stoked to hear some of your
Do
stories,
it.
and I definitely want to
Dive
be
in.
cognizant of your time, man. So, after we touched base last week, dude, I was, it always makes me happy to connect with people because I'm like, we all kind of got some kind of like for lack of a better phrase, some kind of cross we're bearing, some kind of cause, that's like kind of charged us up and everything like that. And I know we just kind of scratched the surface in our prep call and everything like that. But I guess we can start with. I know you said you came over here from Ukraine. Probably when you
Yeah,
were very young. But like,
I
let me
was
know how
two.
that
Yeah.
you're two, right? So let me know how that all played out um and kind of how being a first generation or second generation immigrant here impacted you growing up.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I got here when I was two, so I don't really remember much of Ukraine or anything. But
Right.
that being said, both my parents speaking Ukrainian at home. We're eating Ukrainian food. We're struggling. It's like I might as well have come over at any age because it just kind of, I didn't like have like the American, I guess, upbringing. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like when I stepped back home, it was like I was stepping into Ukraine. So, we're
No.
speaking Ukrainian at home, or so. But I mean, it's given me different, I guess, perspective and stuff on things. I feel like I watched my parents struggle a lot with money and things like that, and it made me realize very early on what's important in life and what's not so important. You know what I mean? I mean, them being happier than people that do have money just kind of put things into perspective for me. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, yeah, money's great and it's a necessity, but there's a lot of things in life that you would pass on trying to chase just like money and like the American dream, or you know what I mean? That kind of I guess threw me onto a path that I'm still on. So
Yeah, yeah, like and so many good things, man. And like, what I always commend immigrants for is coming over here not knowing what was going to happen, right? Sink or swim type shit, right? They came over and
yeah,
were
taking
like,
a risk.
we're gonna make this work, or we're not, So they, I talk to a lot of my buddies and people who do have that kind of immigrant story, because it's always like, so man, it's like, dude, imagine me or you like just going somewhere else and just being not knowing the language, not knowing anybody, just
Yeah,
being like, I'll make it work. There's some promise here of something. I know it's better than home. It's just like, it's really insane.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, I gotta give it to my parents. I mean, I don't think at their age, not really speaking much English, like coming over here with like $1 in their pocket, I don't know if I could have done it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They took
yeah,
a huge risk. Like for me and for my brother, um, they did that for us, and like it's very cool that they did that because here I am because of them.
yeah, man.
But I don't know if I would have been like, because I guess my parents would have been right around my age. I'm like right smack dab in the middle of their two ages when
Right.
they came here, and I would not I would not have been ready for that right now. You know what I mean?
A hundred
So
percent, bro. A hundred
props to
percent.
them.
A big time kudos, man. Like um, so like I don't know if this was the case for your parents, but like I feel like from the stories I've heard, like immigrant parents tend to be like kind of tough on their kids, like they some of that maybe not all of them, but some of that anger and that resentment and that like um that toughness, that grit from coming over here from another country really impacts, right, their children. As
Of course.
they're not as privy to like emotional intelligence, and like happiness is like not a concept to them. It's like, what do you mean you
Yeah.
want to be happy, dude? You just gotta like work, and you gotta work and die, once you get older. um
Yeah, provide for
so,
the kids, and there's a lot of expectation involved too, because they're like, well, we brought you here, go ahead, do something. It's like we
right,
gave you the opportunity, now you're like, go ahead. And you're just kind of like, what do I do? Like,
right,
I don't want to waste this opportunity, but like also what do I do?
right. And also
Guide me a
like,
little bit. And they can't because they don't really know how life is here. They didn't grow up here. They don't know.
yeah, they
You
kind of
know?
like they kind of got their foothold, whether it's like in a side business or in like a corporate job, and they just kind of stayed there forever. um
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my mom's been in her job for like 35 years, and that to me is daunting as hell, to be in one place like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
um
Yeah.
but yeah, man, did you experience any type of like any of that, any of that abrasion, and like, like what one point of context I'll have is like, when you're younger, man, it's tough to like understand why they're like that, and now over the past
Of
years I'm
course.
just starting to understand, like, man, y'all had it rough out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if your story was similar.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you said, like a lot of immigrant, people who came here young and with their families, and they have sometimes they even have like a resentment towards their parents of like, why did you treat me this way? And that you don't really realize till sometimes too late, which is sad. Um, but yeah, definitely. I mean, I have a very distinct memory, and I tell friends, I tell people of like, I'd be like, hey, Dad, can I like go outside and hang out with my friends? And he's like, you hung out with your friends yesterday, like, so you can't today. Like, it's just like, because you had a good time yesterday, you can't have a good time today. Like, that's unheard of. Do something
Right.
productive. I'm just like, what do you, it's like summer break or something. I'm in like 8th grade. Let me go skateboarding or something. And he's like, no, absolutely not. Play violin or something.
Yeah,
You know
child
what I
prodigy
mean?
here, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%, dude.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's you did play the violin, right?
I did, yeah. And now I'm like super grateful. I mean, not just now. I mean, I realized it, quite a while back, but I remember growing up and like, why are they making me play violin? Why are they making me go to all these like every day after school was like Monday was art lessons after school. Tuesday was a violin lesson. Wednesday I was in like some quartet thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thursday was piano lesson. Friday, and it was just like then it was like tennis lessons, and I'm just like, oh my god, you guys must hate me. But like in reality, they're spending everything they have left over on their paycheck on me. You
Making
know
sure
what I
you got
mean?
the skills and like, the
Absolutely.
opportunities,
And just
doors are opening. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man,
And so I'm
dude,
forever grateful for that. I mean, I would not be writing music today if I didn't have that like upbringing. You know what I mean?
100%, dude, 100%. And I think music in the way that you and I were taught growing up, whatever it is, right? I played the viola, so you played the violin.
Oh
Um,
hell yeah.
yeah, dude. So I was same thing, private tutors,
Viola's
all that
cool.
stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not we don't get all the thunder like the violins do, like the first and seconds do, but we hold our own, I guess, with orchestra humor, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that type of music, right? Like all the treble clef, all the alto clef stuff, right? Like that type of music has its place, but it's very structured music. It's not abstract by any means. And
Absolutely not. Yeah.
and that was a foothold, right? To say, okay, at first I kind of hated music for the same reasons like you might have, right? It's like, dude, why are you doing
Yeah.
this to me, man? Like, please
Yeah.
let me live. And then when you get older, you realize the therapeutic aspects of music itself, right? And
Yeah.
obviously, you know that way more than I do because you're an artist. But music is like, how do I put it? I tell this to all my friends. Say, music to me is the closest thing to religion that I have, right? It's like it's something that I just can't quite put my finger on, but it's very spiritual. It does something to me. It kind of takes over my body and it makes me express in ways that, I don't need to put structure around. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in line with that, I mean, I think it's more of a language than any language. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
language is such a strange thing. We're making sounds with our voice, we're talking to, like, we're saying words, and somehow you're interpreting what I'm saying. But like, there's such a process to learn and to do everything. Someone who's not a musician can hear a sound or a song, and they know exactly what you mean. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
You don't
There's
have to
some
learn it. You don't have to like teach it. You got to learn how to write it maybe, or how to perform it. But like, just that, translation is not necessary. It's just there.
right.
And
It's
I feel like it's
innately
such a
there.
human, like it's just a human thing that, no animal in the world has. It's just like unique to us. And I think it's such an alien thing, but it's also such a human thing, because we are, I mean, pretty much aliens here, in my opinion. You know what I mean? We do not belong here.
Okay. Well, tell me more about
But
that. Why don't we
yeah,
belong here?
well, it's like going back to the thing I was saying about, like the buildings and the right
Oh, okay.
angles and everything, flat surface. It's just like,
I agree.
we are not comfortable on planet Earth.
That's
So
so true, man.
something
Yeah.
I forget who said it. There was a comedian that had a whole bit about that, about how we are just not comfortable on Earth, and it's like 100%. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's not too hot, not too cold. It's just got to be, everything's got to be just right. It's like we are not from this planet.
Yes, yes, we have tweaked and manufactured and done all these things to, change the earth from what it was, man. And like,
Yeah,
I forget yeah, there's another comedian, I think it was like Louis C.K. was like, dude, like,
maybe
there's
it was
things,
Louis that I'm thinking of.
yeah, that's my
Yeah,
guy. But
yeah, that's my boy right there.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to Louis, dude. Holler at us. But what do you call it? He was saying something along the lines where it's like, dude, whoever this God is, he's like he put things on the earth for you, right? Like berries, whatever it was. They put things here for people, and then they were like, I need to go faster. I need to, whatever. It's like,
yeah, I know exactly what skit you're talking about. That's so good.
it's right. And I was like, that is, it's
Yeah,
funny, but it's really true, man. It's so
yeah.
true.
I mean, a lot of his stuff is so. It's just like, wow. It's just eye opening. Like, yeah, he does it in a funny way, but in a, like, you just hear it and you're just like, wow, that is so. Like, we're stupid
Yeah.
basically, and
Yep.
like he's just pointing it out, and it's incredible.
Right, right, 100%, man. So in terms of, so we both got the orchestral thing down. What kind of music did you grow up on, man?
So when I was like really little, I mean, I started playing violin when I was like 5.
Okay.
Um, and it was just violin for like until I was like 8, 9. I started playing piano. I kind of just like picked it up and wanted to like learn more. So we got like piano lessons as well.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like listening to music, like I would either be listening to whatever it is I'm supposed to be performing, like the
Okay.
violin stuff, the classical, the Baroque, like all that stuff,
Wow.
or like Britney Spears.
Oh,
You
hell
know
yeah.
what I mean? I was
Oh.
just like, Britney Spears, that's my girl right there. It's not like I had a CD of like, again, like my brother's 8 years older than me, so like he would get a CD, and I'm just like, hell yeah, whatever that is, that's my favorite because you're my brother and I want to be like you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if he, and then like from there, it just kind of stemmed to like more, I guess, like away from what my parents think is cool and more towards like, I started developing, I started listening to a lot of like Blink 182,
Nice.
that era type stuff. And then from there, it was kind of harder and harder rock. Never really got into like the old hard rock or anything like that. Nothing like 80s, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But like from there, it just kind of stemmed to like the harder, new age, I guess, bands and stuff. And then my brother and I started writing music when I was about 14. He had been writing stuff. He was like in a band. I thought he was like the coolest dude in the world because he was in a band. And I was like, I want to be in a band. So like I picked up a guitar. I started learning. I never took like guitar lessons or anything, but I was just like, I want to play guitar. So I picked it up, started playing. Um, and then when I was 14, I was like, hey, can I join your band? And like think about it from his perspective. He's 22 and his 14-year-old brother is like, can I be in your band?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And he's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Like, let's do it. I was like, wow, okay, I
Oh,
did not
dope.
expect that. But yeah, we started writing some music with me, him, and one of his buddies, and that's how the first and only band I've ever been in. It's called Amist.
Okay.
Started, and all the way through high school, we were just like trying to find a sound that was like unique to us. And then like right out of high school, we just started touring. We were on the Warped Tour a few years in a row,
Oh, Warped
and that
Tour,
just
yeah.
kind of and that just kind of because like I had been to the Warped Tour a few times prior to that. I wasn't like really in the scene, but obviously knew what it was, and I was like, oh, that'd be sick. And then like we played a single show on the Warped Tour in 2010, I think. And then we played in 2011, and then in 2012 we were like on the whole tour, which was just like a dream come true. You know what I mean? We were like, we're sharing the stage with people I used to listen to, like on the other stages, like we're touring with bands I grew up listening to, Taking Back Sunday, like bands like that. And I'm just like, wow, this is the peak of my life right here. You know what I mean? Like I gotta take this all in. I was like 21 or whatever, 20, 21.
Wow.
So yeah, that just kind of like that music has been my journey because of that. You know what I
That is
mean? And then
insane.
after that, it was like we had a tour scheduled right after Warped Tour, and it was like little bars and stuff playing for like 6 people, and it just kind of died out. And it was like, all right, this isn't really for us. Like we had a drummer go back home, but we had a guitarist leave to like play in a different band. It was just me and my brother again. So we were just like, let's maybe let's try to write some EDM music. We were really into like EDM and stuff. Let's just try. Why not? Didn't really work out. Just kind of like writing for fun. And then pretty much ever since 2012, I mean, we released like as Amist, as like that band, just me and my brother writing some covers here and there, some a single or two here and there. We just released 2 years ago or last year, I think. We just released like 2 songs as like a little package thing. Just kind of like, hey, if anyone's still out there listening, here's 2 songs that we think are cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not really pursuing per se anymore. And then this whole time, I just kind of I was the like the screamer, I guess you could say, in that band, like the front man screamer. My brother was the vocalist, so we were like the front men. I just kind of started wanting to develop this sound where like I haven't heard it yet before. I wanted to scream on music that didn't call for screaming. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to just be like heavy metal drums and like heavy, like all this stuff going on. It's like, like I wanted to be like, let me scream, not because I'm angry, but because I'm devastated or I'm really, I'm they're like a sense of devastation and sadness rather than anger and being mean and I'm gonna kill you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I put that on? My original idea was I want to scream on electronic dance music because that might be very powerful, very cool. Stuff like Illenium. Are you familiar with Illenium? Like imagine some screams. I mean, he's kind of doing it now with some bands, but he's kind of going towards like dubsteppy, whatever. But like just his like original idea for music where he did like super sweet like female vocals on it and stuff, like something like that, but with like really emotional, powerful screams on it, I think would be super dope. One of my goals is to do a song with him eventually. I know I'm very far from that, but
it could happen sooner than you know, man.
that would be insane. So like I kind of started just like thinking about that, and that was like probably 5 years ago that I like decided to like try to do this and try to find a sound. And I've just been writing, throwing ideas out there, not really coming up with anything. And then it just like these 2 songs, the one that I already have released and the second song that's coming out the 13th of April.
Perfect.
They just perfect. Yeah, it came out last month. And Find Me.
It's coming out.
Find
April.
Me is coming out April 13th. Yeah.
Both are bangers.
And both just kind of like came at almost the same time, and it just like clicked. It's just like this is the sound. Like if you just heard the track, the one coming out on the 13th is just an acoustic guitar. That's it.
Okay.
And if you just hear the acoustic guitar track, you're like, no, why would anybody scream on this? It doesn't make any sense. And then you hear it and you're like, okay, it kind of makes sense. I get it. I feel the desperation. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
So like
That's so
it just kind of clicked, and I just want to kind of follow this momentum and just keep writing. And anybody who, I mean, this is all just for, I guess, for myself. If anybody wants to listen, that's awesome. But I'm not like,
I
you
love it,
know,
dude.
it's more, you know, if anybody wants to reach out and they're like, hey, let's do a song together, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. I got a
Yeah.
couple people like just in my DMs like, hey man, I loved your single. Let's work together at sometime. I'm like, sometime, let's work together right now. What do you
Right
like? You
now,
got any
like,
songs in the process? Like, let's go.
yeah,
I got a guy like going into the studio this week. He like sent me a clip. I sent him a clip back. Like we're just for
that's
the sake of
awesome.
collaboration. Why not? Even if we never release it, no one ever hears it. That's what life is about. I feel like it's just, you know,
Yeah, what's the
and
harm?
it's
What's the harm?
strangers. It's, you know, it's like you and me before last week. You know what I
Right?
mean? And now I feel like I kind of know you a little bit, and it's awesome. You know,
Hell
and
yeah,
it's
man.
music got us here. You know, you're not a musician or anything, but like it's because I released a song. If I didn't release that song, we would not be having this conversation. And I think
100%.
that's a very powerful thing.
I think that's one of the most powerful things in the world, man. And that was a sick ass story you just lined out, dude. And we gotta go through that a little bit, man. First of all, dude, Warp Tour, man, that is fucking sick, dude. I
That was
actually
an insane time.
I had no idea about Warp Tour, right? But I got a couple buddies that I hang out with, and they're actually in a band as well. And every year when Warp Tour comes around for the past like 7, 8 years I've known them, they're like itching to go, man. I've never been with them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they're all gearing up. They're all just ready, and they've showed me some clips of Warp Tour, and now I got to go back and check
Yeah.
them out. I'm wondering if you were in any of them, man, because that would be a crazy
That
like
would be a
roundabout, dude.
crazy coincidence. Yeah, that would be so crazy.
Wow, dude, I might even like, dude, I might even connect you with my boys, dude, because they're in a band too, and they're always like,
Yeah,
we're doing the same thing over there. I don't like they bounce ideas off of me for their music and what they're writing and stuff like that. I mean, it might not even come of anything, but dude, it's something that you guys might be able to connect on because they're into that type of music.
yeah. It doesn't have to come of anything. You know, it's just I'd love to meet them. I'd love to hear what they're working on. I mean, music is such a unique thing to each individual artist that
Yeah,
there is no such thing as just like exhaustion. Like you can't exhaust every type of song, every like lyric. It's impossible.
so
There's so
true.
many combinations. So anything new that I can hear is incredible to me.
Yeah, yeah, and
You know what
music
I mean?
has,
So like, I would
yep.
love to hear how their brain interprets their thoughts into music. That would
Dude,
be
dude,
awesome.
I'm gonna connect you guys, man, because I feel like you guys could put something together. My boy, my main friend over there. So going back to your comment on how you taught yourself the guitar, right? So like, I don't know if you came at it this way. So he was trying. He's been teaching me the guitar a little bit, right? Like I go chill with him on Fridays. We bust it out, do our thing a little bit. So he
Yeah.
was like, my initial jerk reaction was to be like, "Hey, dude, so what like clef are you in? Like what? What I mean? I was trying to ask him this shit. He's like, "Dude, shut the fuck up." And he's like, "Dude, I don't read music. I just kind of listen to things and I recreate it, and it's all about like the positions, the different positions of your hands on the neck. You know what I mean? It's like very like geometric, if you will, right? Like, and I'm just like, wow." Like this just like turned my whole conception of music like upside down, right? It became like
Yeah.
exactly what you said. It was like it became something way more abstract and spiritual. And our need, like as a human, is like to put structure on it, like put it into a clef, put it music notes for
Yeah.
me.
Write it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he's just like, dude,
Put the
don't.
metronome on. It's like, yeah.
Exactly, man. And like
Yeah.
he's like really crazy on the guitar, and I'm hoping to get to his level one day. But like again, it's just like you got to use different perspectives, right? Like you listen to your brother, listen to Britney Spears, and like but before you know it, you're at Warp Tour. Those are completely different ends of the
Oh yeah.
spectrum, man.
Who would have thought? Yeah. Absolutely.
Who would have thought? And then going off like some of the other parts of your story, right? So you said the name of the band was Amist.
Yeah. Amist.
What does that mean?
Uh, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
So
That's an answer.
my brother named the band after, so like he was in a band with his buddy,
Yeah.
and they had a song called "A Mist," and it was like AMISSED. They also made that up.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you miss somebody, and then in the past tense they were a mist. Like I don't know. He just like
Got it.
made up this word, and then like he's like, oh, a Y is kind of cool instead of an I, so you like put a Y there, and then instead of like ED, you just put a T, and it's like amist. It just looks like a cool word. Let's roll with it.
Yeah.
And we've been running with it since. So
Again, there's
and
my
no one knows how to pronounce it. Everyone's like, oh, amist. I'm like, it's amist, but like it's all good.
yeah, man. Like
You
there,
said it
there.
right, so that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's my need again to put like have a reason, right? Like, there's no need for it. If it sounds good, it makes sense to you guys. If it's a common term that bonds you all together, like, it doesn't have to mean anything, right? That's what it means in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. The mystery behind it's actually kind of makes it a little cooler than if we were named like snakes. It's like, okay,
I get it.
I know what those are. You know what I mean?
It's like too literal. Like a name like a mist would be like would make or Amis, sorry, Amis would intrigue you, right? Like it intrigued me. Like when you said it, I'm like I
Yeah,
want to know
to
more
ask.
about it. Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
And then
engagement.
you
You know what I mean?
start, yeah, and then you start listening to the music, you start putting it together with the sound. Now amist means a lot to me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like it's not just a random word. It used to be. Now it has meaning to me and to anyone who was a listener,
yeah,
for that stuff. Like that word has a meaning that never had before, and it's not a meaning that you can define in a dictionary. It
yes.
just matches the music, and that's it. And that's all it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need to be more or less, right? Like take it for what it is, take it for what it means to you guys and that value that it brings, you know? It's going to be something
Exactly.
different for you than probably it is for your even your bandmates, right? Like and then
Yeah.
let alone like someone like me, right? Someone who isn't in the day-to-day with you guys, man. But that's a cool story, dude. Um so maybe I cut you off before you got there, but I remember back last week when we were chatting, you were talking about how you just got back from Iceland. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Yo, let me know about that, man. I love Iceland, bro.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a lot shorter of a story than
Sure.
the first 90% of my life
Okay.
because uh, so basically, my girlfriend and I wanted to live in Iceland because like she was just like, hey, Iceland is cool.
Okay.
And I was like, is it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I believe you. Let me look it up a little bit. It does seem cool. The people are cool. Like I don't know, everything's just like cool and like better over there. All right, how can we live there? Even briefly, how can we live there? Started looking into it. While we can get a job there if we're like really awesome at something, which I am not.
Okay.
She's not. Like we're not like special. We're not some like computer video game designers, nothing like that. We're just people. Um, so okay, how do we go there? We can go there as like for a vacation, a couple weeks, whatever. Not enough. All right, well, if we enroll in school there, school is free there
Yes.
because not America. Um, then we can go and we can live there for a semester or two. Okay, let's do it. We're gonna go. Like we applied, we like paid the like application fee. It was like $50, whatever it was. Got in. We were gonna go that like end of that summer, but COVID and stuff happened and it just like messed everything up. And so we were just kind of like dormant for a year, waiting for the following summer to go to Iceland again. So we had to like reapply, do all this stuff. It was like this
Oh,
big
bro.
mess. And then we're like, all right, let's go. So this was this past summer. Yeah, this past August, we went to Iceland. So it was like not that long ago. We went to Iceland. We moved there. We first day went to IKEA, bought all our shit that we need. Went to school in Iceland. Just kind of threw ourselves into Iceland, uh, which was like awesome. It was
Yeah,
a
dude.
great experience. I mean, we did like the ring road around like the whole country and all that shit. We went to go see like the volcano while it was erupting. We went to go see like all this cool stuff. Um, and then the semester was coming to an end this semester, and I was like, I've had enough of Iceland.
Cool.
I don't want to I we did it. We tried it.
Yep.
I'm good. Um, I came back in like December. She stayed there for like a little bit longer. She came back like a month ago ish. Um, and that was it. That's our Iceland story. I mean, it was honestly life over there wasn't much different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
mean, everyone's speaking the other like I mean, everyone speaks English. And like if we were in school for learning the Icelandic language for practical purposes. So it was like a 1 year program for like, international students to just
Yeah, yeah.
learn the language. And their language is insane. Their
It's
language
oh
is
my
like
God.
it's the hardest language to learn in the world. I would bet money on that. It's insane. Maybe like Mandarin is harder. I don't know, but it's up there. It's not like English. You know what I mean? It's
Not
not
at
like
all.
Ukrainian or Russian any of those languages. Um, but it was cool. I mean, it was challenging. We didn't expect the school to be so challenging. It was just like nonstop. We thought it was going to be like, oh, it's a means to get there. It's a means to live there. We'll
Right.
go to class like never and just live there. And no, we had to like, I like failed like all my midterms. It was a big, yeah, it was, it wasn't the intent to be there, like to like be like scholars. So it was all
Right.
good, but and it got us there. So that was cool. We were on a student visa. We got to live there. We like had our own place. It wasn't like an Airbnb. You know what I mean? It was like
Nice.
we were all in, and then it was like, all right, well, this isn't for us anymore. Let's go back. So here we are, and that's why like the room behind me is empty because we got this place like less than a month ago. So
Oh, I see you, dude.
yeah,
I see you. That's an interesting story, man. Good props to you for making that transition and coming back, dude. Because seems so daunting, man. Like visa paperwork, enrolling in school, finding a new place, all in an area where you don't know the language. I mean, they do speak English, they do drive on the same side of the road, but I don't know, man. It's like it's tough, and
yeah,
I feel like Iceland would get old after a little while, man. It's scenic for a minute, but it's never
yeah.
sunny there, dude. I don't know.
Great place to visit. Not like, especially if you've got some like if you're not like 100% just like the happiest dude in the world. If you've got even a little bit of anything going on, those like 10-hour, like during the day it's like dark for like 10 hours and you get like 2 hours of sunlight,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, and it's not even sunlight, it's like the sun's like, oh, there it is, okay, it's gone,
Oh, yeah.
and like that's it. Like in the winter you're just like, well, everything's dark, I'm
Yeah.
upset.
I feel you, dude. I mean, dude, we're talking about weather right now, man. We just got like good weather last week, but I'm pissed off like at the weather out here, man. I can't even imagine doing that for like more than like I mean, dude, I just can't imagine doing that for a long time, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but are you still you're still with your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So then the inspirations for your songs, right? Where do they come from? Like specifically your single "Perfect" and then your most recent one that's coming out on the 13th.
So it comes from a very, I guess, personal and I guess introspective. Is that the word? Intra or inter? I'm not sure, but like,
Yeah, I feel you.
looking within me,
Yeah, yeah.
um, how I fit into any relationship.
Okay.
So it's just like how I am able or not able to handle myself, to handle issues, to handle good things, even, to handle like awesome things. Um, and I've been with my current girlfriend for 4.5 years, something like
Okay.
that. And the songs stem from a lot of our struggles and a lot of things that we've been through. Um, there were many points where it was kind of like on the brink of like, is this even gonna continue?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is this even gonna? And a lot of it is because of mental health, um, stability, instability. Just mine, hers, combined, everything. And the single coming out on the 13th is, I mean, the main, I guess, position that I take is I wasn't ready for any relationship, and I kind of still am not. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm working always on myself, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to find me. I mean, that's the name of the song, Find Me.
Yep.
I mean, if she's sticking around with me through this, that's amazing. But like, I don't expect it. I don't, I'm always like, I'm not even close to where I want to be in this kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's just kind of I hope one day to look back on that song and be like, that was a part of the journey. That was a part of the process. I don't have it figured out and I'm saying this is how people should be or this is how I should be. It's more like I have no idea how I should be. This is all confusing.
Yeah.
Like a lyric in there is like, maybe I should, even in the beginning of our relationship is what I was kind of quoting from. I say like, maybe, everything's good, everything's great, but maybe I should just say goodbye right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. It's just like this feeling that I have, like maybe this isn't right. And like a lot of times it turns out, and I'm in this like dark place where, maybe that would have been better. maybe I should have stepped away,
Mm-hmm.
worked on myself, and then dove back in a better person.
Right, right,
For
right.
my sake, for her sake, for everyone's sake, you know. And so that's kind of it's a difficult song even for me to listen to even now. And I remember recording it. I'm just like, I'm singing, screaming, whatever. Like I'm like in tears, just like, it was it was
Pouring
at
it out.
probably a very low, dark place. That I've kind of, I mean, this was recent. This was very recent. I finished writing this song in January or December or January, like writing the lyrics, writing everything. So like it was very recent. I've dug myself out a bit. I'm doing better, but it's always it's nice to have that reminder. It's nice to have that. It's almost like a diary. You know what I mean? It's an audible diary for myself.
Yeah.
And if I can put that out there, and anybody, even if one person can relate and be like, dude, you helped me in any way, the world is a better place because of that one song. And like that's incredible. It just came
Well,
from my head and it's incredible. Like it's so like I can't even, I don't have the words to describe what kind of feeling that is, to just like something came from nothing out of my head and someone else can relate to it and it can change their life in a positive way. It's so profound that I can't. It's like you were saying, like religion. It's like music is kind of like your religion, and it's just like it's the way that I can connect to these people without ever speaking a word to them.
yep. Yep.
At one of our shows, when I was in Amist, we had a fan come up to us like in tears, just like pouring tears, and he's like, "Your song, like a specific song, it saved my life. I was going to kill myself,
Wow.
and it saved my life." And I was just like, like I couldn't even react. I could, in the moment, I was probably like, "Oh, dude, like, I'm sorry to hear that." Whatever. I was probably like insensitive about it, because how do you even process that in the moment? You know what I mean? Like, what do you say?
How do you
But
react?
looking
Right.
back, like, holy shit, good, like wow, did that? And he's got the balls to tell us that. Imagine how many people, they just kept it in. They never shared it with anyone. But maybe somewhere, somehow, butterfly effect. Maybe if they never heard something that I did, things would have been different. And it's crazy to think about.
Wow,
It's
man.
basically what I'm trying. Yeah.
Bro, I got goosebumps, man. That is fucking amazing, dude. No, I thank you for sharing that with me, dude. That is
Yeah.
real, that's really honest, man. And I really appreciate that. And dude, that guy more so than me, but like mission accomplished, man, dude. Like, like I reached out to you for this reason as well, dude, because and I really can commend you for acknowledging the darker side of life, right? You don't like never feel bad, man, for anything that you're saying or doing, because when I like I heard your music, and my initial jerk reaction was like, hey man, this is not my type of music, right? But I put that aside for a second and I listened to the lyrics, and I was like, man, this dude is out here. You can't scream like the way you're screaming and not be fully immersed in it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't scream like the way you're screaming and not be feeling those emotions, because if someone's writing that shit for you, that shit's not gonna come out the way that you're portraying it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I commend you for. I'm sure you had to rehearse it many times. You had to go through these emotions many times while you were writing it. I'm sure there was so many tears, emotions, bad, dark times involved, man. But you are a visionary, bro. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate that. It's very kind words. I mean, yeah, I think it's crucial, not just for me, not just for musicians. I think it's crucial for everyone to just be more open and accepting of bad thoughts, bad feelings, like just good feelings, everything. Like, I feel like everyone is so closed off, and most people in general are closed off to strangers, which is probably a good thing. But as soon as there's someone who's a little bit like, just put those walls down. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, nothing's gonna happen.
yeah,
Maybe you'll connect with someone. Maybe they've gone through a similar thing, and I think music is a very safe way to emerge into that kind of situation, because I'm not one to. I mean, this isn't even really like me here. I mean, I'm shy. I'm a shy guy. I was nervous to do this. So, you know what I mean? So like, it's just why not? You know
Right.
what I mean? And like if I feel something and I want to say it in a song, like me, so like the one lyric in the single coming out soon, the lyric is uh I wasn't ready, I wasn't healthy. And I straight up just say like I wasn't healthy, pretty much talking about my mental health.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a just a standalone thing to say is like a it's like a bold statement. Just that I wasn't healthy or I'm not healthy.
You
You know what I mean?
acknowledge
Just
it.
like the
Yeah.
admission of that is is what I think a lot of people need to just express and be like, hey, I'm not okay.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
And
to their
that is
loved ones, to
okay.
their friends. Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. Most likely, the person who's hearing you say that also feels that way. And if not, has felt that way more than once in their lives.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't acknowledge your negative feelings, man, they're gonna come out and manifest in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Through
And this is
violence,
what,
whatever it is.
absolutely. And this is what kind of, I mean, these emotions, I didn't know I had them before. I didn't know I had these dark, I would suppress them like my whole life. And they started budding out in this relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's where, in retrospect, maybe I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for any. I wasn't healthy enough, but I didn't know at the time.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? That's why, like, maybe I should say goodbye, but I don't know why. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was like king of the world. This is awesome. New
Yeah.
relationship. It's great. And then the things start budding out. It starts causing problems. You don't really know what's going on. It's scary.
Right, right. You think you're undeserving. You think you're not worthy. Like these types of things.
Absolutely.
Have
Yeah.
you
And you
ever?
feel hopeless because you can't do anything about it.
Right, right. Have you ever traced it back? So we've established, right? Like yes, we both you and I you're talking about some of your mental health issues, right? Have you ever traced it back to anything? Like have you ever done
Oh
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I I started doing a lot of meditating and a lot of just I mean I don't know what meditating is. I don't know what
Right.
the word
100%.
meditating is. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's a right way to do it. I don't sit like this and hum. You know what I mean? It's just I sit alone in a quiet room, not a dark room. I don't want to fall asleep, and I just sit and I just observe my thoughts. I
Yes.
don't think about them. I don't judge them. I just I become an audience to my own thoughts, and they're
That's
just
so.
like and they just start like organizing themselves into like a bookshelf. Like these are the thoughts that this is maybe linked to this, let's put that together, and it just happens automatically. I don't
Yeah.
have to think about it. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, wow, okay, maybe that's why this, maybe that's why this. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of, I mean, it's cliche, but a lot of the way you were raised, or the way like your parents treated you when you were like in those very young,
Yeah, those
um,
formative years, man.
the malleable years, yeah, where like you're just absorbing everything and it's just like shaping you. There's probably a lot. I mean, I've probably delved into 1% of why I'm the way I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know for a fact that a huge part of me is the way I am because when I was growing up, playing the violin, doing like art stuff and whatever, I was, for my age, especially, and like in school and whatever, for my age, like I was good at it.
Nice.
I was good at it compared to some of the people around me in that age group or whatever. Because of however my parents, it doesn't matter why. I don't know if it was a genetic thing or the way they were strict or whatever. But the point is, I would start doing something because I enjoyed it, because I loved it. Right? I start drawing a, I don't know, whatever. I started drawing and I enjoyed drawing. All of a sudden, people are like, wow, that's really good, right? And I'm like, oh, that feels nice to hear that. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm hanging it in some like contest or whatever, and like I win first place. And I was like, wow, that feels even better. That
Yeah.
feels awesome. So now when I go back to draw just for myself, it's not as stimulating as getting, you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, 100%.
So so now I have to really fight to enjoy like a hobby, or to enjoy something, or to enjoy a connection with a person, or to enjoy a connection in a relationship without that like overwhelming stimuli back.
The
You know what I
affirmation
mean?
and yeah, whatever it might be. That yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it stems from just like if I sucked at everything and every, I mean, parents obviously they're supposed to say, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful, the thing you drew, great." Like that's fine, that's warmth, that's loving, whatever. But like winning an award for something, or like proof, I had proof that like I was like a smart kid or whatever. In like third grade, I would enter some like math competition and I'd come in like first place in like the whole state or like whatever, and it's just like, wow, I'm the man. And now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, time to be alone. It's alone time. Draw something. I'm like, no, I want to show this to somebody.
Right,
Like,
right.
somebody tell me this is good. And I feel like that kind of spills over to like, music is one of the few things where I can write a song and I can enjoy it just by myself. But there's still that like budding, like I at least have to like show my brother, hey, what do you think of this?
Right,
And if
right.
he doesn't like it, I start to also I'm kind of like, maybe he's right, because I have a lot of that like, I have to, I don't even know how to word it. Like I need the validation of
Yes.
from an outside source because
Yep,
that's what I'm
yep.
accustomed to.
Right, right.
And so I've been working on that, more and more. And of course I'm in the beginning of this journey. I mean, I realized I started meditating honestly not that long ago. So I'm in the like you caught me in the middle of like a transformation. Hopefully I'm a completely different person this time next year.
Hey man, we'll
So
chat
it'll be
again next year,
interesting.
yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe
Cool.
you never know.
No, dude, I could not resonate more with what you just said, dude. Like, doing a mental inventory, that's tough, right? And then like, you have all these external forces, right? Like kind of like coming into you. And like it's hard not to appease those things because that's where you get like the tangible, like you get a like or you get a, oh, good job, Brillo. Oh, dude, that's what's up, But like,
Yeah,
and then you can ultimately, we see it time and time again with celebrities, other people, that becomes who they are, right? They become this
yep,
self-validating person and they just appease to their audience. But like to your point, it's like, dude, we got to do things just for the sake of doing them because they make us happy and they're good for us, And
yeah,
who gives a fuck if they like it or not? That's just who I am, man. I'm just gonna do that,
yeah,
and that's the best thing I can offer in this world because no one else can offer that, right? Like no one else can offer your brand, your song perfect or find me. No one else can offer that but you. And even the fact
right,
that you were thinking about these sounds, these different sounds for the past few years, and you were perfecting it, man. Yes, somebody else might have had a journey where they were trying to perfect their sound, but your sound is your own, man, and you just
right,
can't like you can't be a chameleon and shift to like what this audience likes over here, unless that's what you're trying to do.
right, right, right.
Um,
No, yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, it stems to relationships as well. I mean, the whole validation thing, and you start doing things to like, oh, you appreciate me, show me that you appreciate me.
right,
Give me the golden star, give me that sticker. You know what I mean? Like you
right,
wanna, and otherwise it's not worth to do.
right. Like,
But
do you
like it
love?
should be because it's supposed. Yeah, and so
Mhm.
it's a battle, I guess. It's always internal. It's an internal battle of me looking for that stimulus or looking for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
No, if you bring it to relationships, it's like, I mean, I don't know if this is true for you. It's like, do you love me because you see a husband here? Do you love me because you see a family down the road? Do you love me because you're afraid to be alone? Like, why do you
right,
love me? Do you love me just because I'm me? You know what I mean? And
right,
if you
yeah,
don't, man, that's going to lead to some melancholy down the road because I have my own issues. I come with my own baggage, and like
yeah,
I maybe don't see myself as like a father. Maybe I don't see myself, as this or that, but no matter what it is, no matter what it manifests itself as, like if it's unconditional, you got to be here now. You got to be here with
yeah,
me throughout all of this.
yeah,
And that can be, dude, that can fuck you up, man, because like, from what I'm hearing from your lyrics, right? Like it was easier with you, never thought I would miss you, right? So when you get into a companionship, especially, for us being, straight males with the opposite sex, there's something about it that you like, right? Like there's that companionship. I like being with my wife, right? She brings me something that a man can't bring me, you know what I mean? And but there's also this tension, like, dude, I don't know if I'm a good enough dude for this, you know what I mean? Or if I can walk that
right,
straight and
yeah,
narrow because I got demons, man. They manifest sometimes, I get angry, I get sad, I'm impulsive at times. And the world is,
absolutely,
you know what I mean? The world's dark, dude, and I'm not gonna sit here and just say, oh, I got a cookie cutter life on Instagram, man. Like there's shit that fucks me up all the
Yeah.
time, dude, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, going back to that, I mean, that openness, if you're open with others, you open up to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the more open you are with others, the more you actually realize, again, the introspection and just, I guess, if you're not quiet about it, you're not internally quiet about it. And so if you can be open about it, and then if you can be open about it with your wife, with your girlfriend, with whatever, it's kind of like, yeah, the world is a dark place, but like, let's sit in the dark together. You know what I mean? Let's not sit on opposite sides of the room. Let's, sit next to me.
Yeah, let's not be
In the dark.
right.
Yeah, maybe it's dark for me, maybe it's not dark for you. Give me some of your light, and then
Right.
when it's dark for you, I'll give you some of mine. It's not
Yep.
going to be light like all the time, and we're just going to be like flowing through life. Honestly, that's kind of boring. I don't even want that.
Right.
You want ups and downs.
Dude.
There's no, again, going back to Louis, he's talking about relationships, and he's like, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, like the whole time, just always like, yeah, this is awesome, woo, like that's insane. That's
Yeah, dude. Sometimes, like he said, he's like, sometimes he's gonna be downstairs beaten off by the boiler like a troll. You know what I mean? That was like the funniest thing I heard from him, dude. I feel like, but no, dude. Like, not to get all like lighthearted there, man. I'm resonating with all of this, man. And from the lyrics, from our conversation, that's what I get, dude. It's like embrace that part of life, man. Like if everything is going well, like you said, isn't that boring, dude? If it's like just all like smooth sailing, dude. Like there's growth in struggle, man. There's growth in dark thoughts. And
there's a journey there. There's a journey to be had. Imagine a video game where you get into a car and you drive down a straight path and then the finish line is down there. Would you ever play that game?
Never, dude.
Like, would you ever play like no way? Or like you get a game, first time where you enter all the cheat codes right away, you put it on easy mode? Of course not.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? It's about figuring it out. It's about the journey, and
it teaches
it's not just about the destination.
Dude, it teaches you detachment, right? Like it teaches me to say, hey, look, there's a good moment here, right? But I'm not gonna get so attached to it. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna chase that feeling. No, I'm gonna enjoy that good moment while it's here. And when there's a bad moment, I'm gonna take that as an opportunity to put myself into a different scenario, and I'm gonna come out on top in that scenario. But you know what I'm saying? It's like every scenario that comes my way, I'm gonna be detached from it. I'm not gonna try to fucking sink in there and just like put my.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes to live by is, and I honestly I don't know who said it. I'm really bad at that. I should probably start remembering who said what, but it's "This too shall end."
Yeah.
And that's about negative things, negative experiences, but it's for the positive experiences.
Yep.
It will end. It's not going to be good forever. It's not going to, and so it makes you enjoy it more.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Instead of just like, oh, this is great. This is how life is. Awesome. And I'm just going to ride it out. No, really cherish it. Really take a step back and appreciate it while it's here, because it's not going to be here forever.
Yeah, 100%.
And it can be helpful with the bad stuff, but it's also extremely useful with the good stuff.
Yeah, man, dude, 100%. It's like take those journeys for what they are, dude. I hope you and your girlfriend, are together for eternity, man. But let's say if not, right? But you enjoyed that time with her, right? Those 4, 5, 6, 7. You enjoyed it. You gave it your all. You had your own issues, but you tried your best to put it aside, and that's where it lies. Right? You take the lessons learned and you move on. Same for me, dude. It's just like those types of things you gotta go through, dude. But I want to go to some of your lyrics, man, because I feel like, dude, there's good stuff in there, man.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah. For what you're willing to share, man. Let's go there. So, I remember the night I decided to tell you. I didn't know how, but you swore that you did too. So,
okay.
As much as you're willing to share.
Well, let's make it a little interesting before I even, disclose anything, whatever. I mean, it's quite simple, but what do you like? How do you resonate with that? What did you think, or what do you think, or do you just have, any ideas?
No. So for me, I remember the night I decided to tell you that I love you, and then I didn't know how, so you might not have articulated it well, right? And I did the same bullshit when I said I love you to my wife for the first time. I kind of said it in like a fucked up manner, and I didn't know how, but you swore that you did too. So leading me to believe that it was reciprocated, but maybe there was like some ambiguity in the air about the way you guys exchanged that I love you, right? It wasn't as like
Yeah.
heartwarming as you thought it might have been.
It's
That's my
interesting you say
analogy.
that because that's actually one of the so a lot of my lyrics in that song particularly, a lot of the lyrics are some of the best like core memories that I have
Okay.
within the relationship, and that happens to be one of them where it was the first time. You're absolutely right. You nailed it. It was the first time that I wanted to say that I loved her for the first time, and I couldn't articulate it, not because of ambiguity, not because of whatever. I was just so overwhelmed with emotion. I was scared that she might not feel it back or whatever. And like she could just tell that I was like trying to like figure this out in my head, like how do I say this? What do I do? And she just like stopped me and she's like, I know what you're trying to say, and like I feel the same way. And that just like burst my heart with like positive. It's a very positive memory, specifically that one. So like
Oh,
I didn't know how to say it, and before I could even articulate it, she's like, hey, listen, you don't have to. Like, me too. Basically she's like, I love you too.
oh,
You know what I mean?
sweet.
So it was a very and it's kind of like when I was writing these lyrics, a lot of them are I guess reminiscent of like how good it can be, and like these thoughts that you can hold on to that get you through the hard things. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%, dude.
So, I mean, that lyric, what follows that lyric is, I mean, I never thought I would miss you. Like, it's kind of ending. I never thought it would end because look how awesome it was. Like, I remember how awesome it was. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's that like,
Why, why? So, and not to diminish it, right? Like I told you, like the way I did it was fucked up too. It was kind of like the same thing as like, uh, 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 like kind of like as, and then like, like, it was kind of the same thing where I just kind of said like, I just kind of said it. I was like, I like love you. I kind of said, I like kind of fucked it up, and,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like to me, it was just so hard to say it, and not
yeah.
because I didn't love her, but it was just like I felt vulnerable. I felt like weak
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely.
And
You feel vulnerable, and you get inside yourself. You get inside your own head, and it's the longer it's like when you're trying to like jump off a cliff or something. The longer you sit up there, and the longer you think about it, the scarier it becomes.
right,
You gotta
pull
just
the
go.
trigger. Yeah.
So yeah, so once I'm like, I really want to say it, and as soon as I hesitated, it just started building. The vulnerability started building, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, what if she doesn't say it back? What if I do this? What if I this? What if I this? And like a lot of things are not even like realistic, but they're coming to my head, just intrusive thoughts, boom, 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 and I'm just like, oh my god, that like, and it's just like, hey, stop, like, it calmed me down. It was like, listen, I feel the same way. So
Dude.
it's a very pot. It was a very like, it's a memory I'll have forever. If we don't, make it or whatever, and down the line, like that's one of the like I remember so clearly where we were, everything, like how it made me feel, and I'll cherish that like forever, no matter what. So
Wonderful. That's dope, man. That's dope. And so I like that story, man. That's a really good one, dude. Like I said, we got more in common than we might have known before this, dude. Um, I was perfect on my own. Now I'm scared to be alone. That's like kind of like I think like the headline, right? Like
yeah,
so
yeah.
I like that exercise that you posed beforehand. So let me kind of
Yeah, go
tell you what
ahead.
that meant
Go
for me.
ahead.
So it was kind of like what we were touching on before, right? So before, the relationship happens, you're this dude, you're out and about, you're doing your thing. You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know how good a relationship could be, but you also don't know that it's work. It can be melancholic, it takes time, it takes energy, and you have to like kind of put your shit aside, right? To be there for somebody else too, right?
Yeah, to
So
compromise and to yeah.
right. So I'm perfect on my own, man. I got my thing going. I'm doing my thing with my boys. I'm having fun. I'm out and about. And now, now that I've gotten this taste, right? I've gotten some of it. I can't imagine what it would be like to not have it now. Now I'm scared.
Exactly
What would I
right.
do if I was alone? Being in this apartment, what would I do if you weren't here now,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, again, you nailed it right on the head. I mean, like they're very, a lot of the lyrics are very transparent. They've got stories behind them and they've got whatever, but like I just say what I think and what I feel. And, I don't try to be deep or like metaphorical here and there. Like I straight up just like looking at my phone. Like if I want to be metaphorical, I could be like, oh, I was in the corners of my mind. So like, no,
Sure.
I'm looking on my phone. Like, seeing if you're moving on. Like it's a scary thing, and that's how I felt, and that's how I said it. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I was perfect before. I can't imagine going back to that. Like rewind with my brain now before we had met. No way I'd be okay. I'd be
Right.
looking for you.
Yeah.
I'm missing a part of me now that I didn't even know was missing. You know what I mean? I made room for this part, and now that it's gone, I don't just like go back into place like water. I'm now this weird shape, and I need this
You're
entity
incomplete
in my
now.
life. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's interesting, man, because like a lot of the music at surface level that the two songs you sent over to me and Perfect that's on your Instagram is it seems innately melancholic, right? But like after I'm connecting with you, I'm like, you do have happy things in your life, right? But you're balancing that with some of the darker parts of your life, and
Yeah,
that's the context I'm getting from you now, and it's like it actually makes it more relatable, and I'm excited for
yeah.
more of your stuff to come out because I'm like this dude is going through things that we all go through, It's not like I don't know. It's not. I mean, maybe you have a story that you haven't shared that's like super traumatic, but like it's like, hey, I experienced some of the things you experienced. Like I feel alone in this world. I feel out of place. I feel like I don't belong here. And
Yeah,
does anyone else feel like that? Am I the only one who feels like that? And it's like, nah, man. This
right.
guy's out here feeling the same way. Like he's in his mind with his thoughts. Like darkness is creeping up on him, and he's got a girl that he's got to keep afloat too, as well as his own mind and things like that, man. So that energy is really good, and I appreciate giving that context, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think one thing you brought up last week that again, if you're still willing to share it, go for it, man. If not, we can cap it off. But Brillo, right? What's
Yeah.
the story behind Brillo? If you don't want to,
Uh,
like I said, you're good.
it, no, it's not much of a story as it is just kind of like, and it's let me start with this. You ever like tell someone about like a dream you had, and like the way you're describing it, and you're describing this dream because you lived it, you lived this dream, you're like describing it, and it was like this epic dream and it's awesome, whatever. But like the words you're using and the way you're describing it to them, it's just like, dude, what are you? It's not interesting.
Right,
What are you
right.
even talking about?
That doesn't make
It's
sense.
kind
Yeah.
of like that. Like it's a very like I can't express the feeling like behind the word, but I can just kind of tell you where it came from, and like you can use your imagination, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, basically, I'll just start from the beginning. The word Brillo is derived. I mean, it doesn't mean anything in English. It's just
Hmm.
like, but the spelling, it's a Ukrainian word. It's Brihlo,
Okay.
which means liar.
Okay.
It's like a slang kind of uh, for liar. And my dad used to say it to me all the fucking time.
Okay.
Like he would just call, like that was like my name. Like he would just like call. He'd be like, "Hey, did you practice violin today?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You like fucking Brihlo." You know what
Wow.
I mean?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And like so, like growing up, it was whatever. I never really, whatever. But like now, even now, like today, like my brother was around obviously that time, whatever, and like I try to make it not a traumatic word for me, but like if I hear it, if I hear that word said, anybody says the word, but even me saying it right now, it triggers a response in my brain to just release just like negative, just like stress.
Yeah.
Like it's like a trigger, like straight up a trigger. It's probably one of the worst triggers that I have is that word. And so when I was trying to come up with a name for my music, my brother and I had just watched the Lil Peep documentary. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're familiar with
Yeah.
Lil
Yeah. Yeah.
Peep. And like he got the name, his mom used to call him Peep and stuff and whatever. And I was like, man, like what did I used to be called, as little, like what was my nickname like that my mom called me or whatever. And my brother jokingly said, Brihlo.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, oh, that's hilarious. Like that would actually be funny, but like whatever, blah, blah. And then we kind of just brushed it off. And this was like months before I even decided on it. And then I kind of started considering it, and I'm like, it might be kind of cool actually. Like I don't know, but I'll try to think of something else. Something else is better, whatever. And the more like, I guess this thought like was like planted like a seed in my head that like that could be the name, and that could, and it never went away. I was like thinking about it all the time. And then
Yeah.
I started thinking that, well, this is the most traumatic word, which again, it doesn't sound like a big deal. it kind of like this dream thing. Like it doesn't sound like it's a word. Like what do you mean it's traumatic? But like it's such a like trigger for me. If that's the worst thing in my life, that is like a trigger verbally, if I can make that into something positive in my life, I've just eliminated the worst thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, let me make this a positive, kind of like what I was saying, like with the word Amist, like the other band, like it used to be meaningless. Now I say Amist, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the music, blah, blah, blah. Like it has meaning. So if I can change the meaning, if I can flip flop it completely to like, no, those are my emotions. That's that's the title of my diary, basically. And it connects to my childhood, why I'm like this, you know, why maybe I'm in some ways this whole time in my whole life, I've been a liar to myself and to the people around me. And I want to change that to this word does not mean, because what are words? Words don't have we give them meaning. You know what I mean? You say blah, blah, blah. I know what that means because it was taught to me from a dictionary. So if I can change that word, slightly different pronunciation, complete different language, you know, I'm not singing Ukrainian. If I can take that and make it a positive association, you know, rather than a negative, then like that's kind of my goal. And it's still like it hasn't improved yet. I mean, I've only been doing this, you know, not too long. I probably decided on that name in like December. So it's been what, 3 months, maybe 4 months.
Oh snap, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the story behind that. And so it's
good for you, man. Yeah. Good for you. That is artistic, man. I love that shit, bro. You know, because like you said, embrace it and flip it on its head, dude. Do you think you lie often, or did you used to lie often, or did you have any pathological tendencies?
When I was younger, definitely yes. I mean, it goes back to stemming from, you know, like I said, you know, with the like I'm drawing a picture or whatever, and then someone gives me like a reward or whatever, like that. I stopped wanting to do it. I didn't want to do things if I was told to do them.
Right.
So like I loved the violin. I thought it was cool. Maybe not at first, but like when I was like, you know, 9, 10, I'm like, dude, music is cool. Like I started like loving music. And like if I'm like about to like, I don't know, practice, you know, I had to practice every single day for an hour. If I'm like about to practice, but like someone mentions like, hey, you got to practice today. I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm not gonna practice. And so like I would start getting stimulus from, let's see if I can be sneaky enough to get around. Like, let me pick up my violin and like move it a little bit so it looks like I picked it up. If they like check up on it, you know what I mean? Like little sly things like that. And that became more fun for me than actually the music.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when my parents would catch me, like, oh, you didn't play because whatever. And then he would, you know, my dad would call me that. And like, it just became a part of, you know, and then I wanted to rebel. And it's just this whole, you know, not so much in like in a dangerous way, but I try to, you know, especially now, I mean, I try to be as open as possible, like I said, with myself and with people and whatever, that I think lying is like one of the stupidest things you can do in general. So it's a little, I guess, counterintuitive that my name is Liar and I'm being so open with my emotions through my lyrics, you know what I mean? But
hey, dude, no, I understand it, right? For as much as you could have explained it to me, and I don't need to understand all of it, right? Because it's yours. And I understand what you said about the lying part of things, dude. It's like, you know, for the parents like, you know, you and I had, they're going to get down on you. They're corporal punishment types, from what I hear, right? It's like, and when you do that, people rebel. You know, that's not how you get through to people. And what you said was,
it's not human.
Right. And the issue is with that is you get used to lying. It becomes fun. It becomes like this dangerous part. And that's when it becomes a part of your personality, that's a problem, right? Because like you said, not only do you start appeasing your parents, you start trying to appease your friends and your girlfriend, and that's not who you are. Because appeasing someone is like putting your, like, you know, kind of like compromising for them. And if you haven't taken care of yourself, you're going to continue to lie. You're going to continue to make bad decisions. You're going to continue to fuck shit up, and then you're going to put it on them. Oh, that was their fault, right? You're going to lie to yourself at that point, and before you know it, you're a big shithole, and you got to unwind. Peel it back, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess the whole idea behind it is like to cocoon that word and what it means, because that word is me. My dad used to call me it, right? Like that is me, that word.
Yes.
Now, what does it mean? In my head, I want to shift
Yes.
to not a liar, not anything, whatever, but a positive, an open person, or whatever. And that to me is what that word will mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So instead of it meaning like liar or whatever, it's gonna mean a positive thing.
Yep.
You know. So.
Yep. No, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate you sharing that, dude. And I promise we can like leave off on this, man. I'm just like really excited about the stuff you're saying, man. We got to do this again. But like so there was a lyric, you know, it says, "Now I'm never sober," right? And like I said, we're recording here, so no need to like go through anything. But like I also resonate with that, man. Like, I'm a big like, cannabis user, dude. And like back when I was going through my tough times, man, that's all I had, and music. I would just kind of like smoke up and just chill, and like I would remove myself from things. I would go, sit in a park somewhere and just like be quiet, and I would sometimes even like I would go cry there, dude, because I was just like so like upset, man. And obviously, like weed like heightens your emotions and things like that. But I felt like, that was all I had, dude. No one got me, dude. I was out on an island by myself.
Right.
So I don't, again, we don't got to go into specifics, man. But if you're willing to open that up a little bit, I'd be happy to hear it.
Yeah, I mean that lyric's actually pretty interesting because obviously, like the way I wrote it and the way people were going to interpret it, I already knew were going to be wildly different.
Yeah.
Because it's a very, like I say the word sober, you think drugs, you think alcohol, you think whatever. What I was intending with this lyric, which is obviously not, it's not written there in any subtext or anything like that, but I was high on my emotions.
Okay.
Good and bad. So the bad emotions, actually, I became addicted to them, and I became like I wanted to pry. I wanted to like probe for more. Like I'm miserable, make me more miserable. Like say mean things. Like just you know what I mean. And then the good thing, it was like manic depressive. No in between. It was like when I'm down, like I want to be really down. Like give me my drug of like just like fuck me up. And then when I'm really high on like the good, the like awesome things are awesome, I want it to be more awesome. I want it to be more like I'm pushing. It's like it's too much. I'm expecting too much. I'm probing too much, and it was just two bad extremes. And so no matter if things were going well or things were going poorly, I was never in a sober mind of just like reality. I was out of reality one way or the other. And I know that doesn't come across really in the lyrics, but like I didn't, that's just.
Well, it's just a content.
And and like the following lyric right after that is, this could never be over. Like, I've never been sober. This could never be over. Like I was so addicted to that I would stay for the sake of just like the extremely bad emotions because they're better than just baseline life because they were my drug.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it's fun.
And I couldn't imagine without. I couldn't imagine it being over and me not having this, this drug of just emotions, any emotion, just stimulus, just like exciting the brain. Doesn't matter what it was, good, bad, sad, angry, just like, but my brain was lively. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like you're living at these extremes, and it's tough to live at a level of contentment, right? Where I'm just good
on both ends,
right? Yeah. And because again, like misery loves company, dude. Like you just want to get into it with folks, and when you're up here, you just want to see where
you want to ride it out as long as you can. Yeah, as high as you can go. Yeah. Exactly. So like it's tough when you've experienced that. It's tough to be right in the middle where, like, oh, this is pretty good, but I'm okay, and it's like, oh, this kind of sucks, but I'll be okay. Like that's a normal person. I'm not a normal person. None of us are normal people. I mean, maybe on the outside or whatever, but this is how I felt, and that's what I had to deal with. That was like my addiction, and honestly kind of still is. Like I catch myself prodding, like I catch myself like, no, I need more. This is not exciting enough.
Right.
Oh, we're in a fight, let's make it worse.
Let's go.
Oh, this is great, let's make it worse. Like, but you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, if something's great, like let's make it better.
Right.
And just like the extremes, and I need to just
keep it. I mean,
at least organized. At least encased, you know what I mean? At least something with some control instead of just out of control. And I mean, like what drugs do, like drugs are great, right? Drugs make you feel awesome. If they didn't have the bad out of control side effects, everyone would be doing drugs all the time. They'd be legal, it would be great. But there's a reason that there's a negative connotation to like, whatever,
Yeah,
cocaine.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like doing cocaine is probably, I've never done it, but like it's probably insane. It feels awesome. But like there's obviously a lot of negative things, and it's the same thing with these insane emotions. They're insane. They're not human. They're not real even. A lot of them are fantasized, over fantasized in your head,
Yeah.
positive or negative. And so they're like a drug, and you need to detox from them, basically.
Yes. Yeah, no, you need to have a detachment from them as well. I mean, those go drugs, like, cocaine, like I said, I've never done that either, but like what I've seen, heard, and read about them is like they don't really force you to do, they just kind of run with kind of like what you were saying, right? Like if you're sad, dude, boom, you're gonna go into a deeper hole if
Yeah.
you do this. If you're happy, boom, you're gonna go skyrocketing with that. And the one thing like I'll lean on, the caveat to like, cannabis and things like that, is like more of a psychedelic, it's like it forces you to like reflect or introspect, like we were talking about before,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
I thought therapy was weird, maybe I should have gone to therapy, dude. But like I used to just like kind of do my thing and just like go sit somewhere and think, like you said, take inventory of my thoughts, reflect and shit like that. But I don't know, man. And that's the last thing I really want to go over today, dude. But
Cool.
yeah, go ahead. Anything?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I just
man.
said cool.
It's just like we both got our stories, man, the way we cope, dude. And but I think what I'll end on, man, is like, this was really inspiring for me, dude. I really appreciate all the sharing. And again, I just want to reiterate the fact that, if you could impact one person's life, like you said, you would have made it. And I think you did, right? You affected two. The dude who said, he was not going to take his life after he heard your songs, and me and myself included, man. Like I really love meeting people like you, dude. And there's no one else I've met like you, who's been able to share and be really transparent about some of the darker thoughts and things like that. So, I wish you all the best, man. And for anyone listening out there, man, you got to go check out my boy Brihlo, his single "Perfect." It's gonna rock your world, man. And the latest one, I've heard it. Find me. But I can't wait for it to drop, man. I can't wait to see everything else that you're gonna do, dude. You got bright stuff ahead of you, man. So I
I
appreciate your
appreciate you, man. I
time,
really
dude.
do.
Yeah, man.
And I think you're doing awesome work. I mean, you're trying to reach out to people that, maybe otherwise don't have a voice or otherwise can't express their thoughts, and you put them in a safe. I mean, a week ago when you reached out to me, I was like, should I even do this? Like, I'm so nervous. I'm so shy. And you made me feel super comfortable. I feel like we've connected. We're friends.
Yeah, me too, man.
More friendship in the world. That's what we need. So like, I really appreciate what you do, and don't ever stop doing it, no matter what. And we'll definitely keep in touch. We'll definitely, we'll definitely talk again. Hopefully, maybe even on like a more regular basis down the line, if I've actually got some more stuff to talk about. I mean, I'll definitely be checking in and stuff. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
really
sir.
appreciate your time.
Yep.